the two-time Super Bowl champion, now with the Houston Texans, Vince Wilfork. How are you, Vince?
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
Well, look, you're a rich man based on what I just saw with those three kids, those three beautiful kids that you were just talking about you like that. That's incredible stuff, Vince. What was that like for you?
You know what? Courtyard Marriott is the official hotel of the NFL, and when they came to me and they wanted to do that, I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be something cool because I would love to hear what my kid had to say. It was kind of a nervous feeling, because as a father, you never really know what your kids really think of you, or as a parent. So I was sitting there like sweating a little bit, and one thing I think Marriott did a great job with was how they got my kids ease and asking them questions, because my youngest, he beat to his own drum. I mean, he really don't care about, talking to nobody but himself and his friends. And my oldest, he starts sweating when people talk to him, let alone a camera in his face. So when I seen that and when I saw how Courtyard Marriott came in and they just started, talking to them, my kids kind of opened up to them. And that I was like in awe. And as a parent, you never really know, how your kids really feel about you. And just to hear them talk about me and what it means to be a great father to them, it was priceless. I had chill bumps because every time, you sit, you always think about, how can I be a better person? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better teammate? You're always looking for ways to improve. I think that's what greatness does to you. You're always trying to figure out how you can continue to be great and be a legend. And with my kids, that's one of the things I always try to do. I always want to let them know that no matter what we go through or, what we talk about or what we do or what you do, I try to teach them values in life. And I think as of right now, I've done a great job and we've done a great job. So it was just good to hear coming from my kids, and it made me very, very proud.
Well, how do you, 12-year veteran in the NFL, balance being a dad, husband, and a football player, and a high-level, championship-level football player, Vince?
Well, I learned a long time ago, early in my career, is when you leave your work, leave your work at home. I mean, leave it at the stadium, and because there was times younger on when I was young, I would leave the stadium or I leave the job, and I get home and I'm upset about something. It might be because of a practice or a play or a game. And my kids, they be waiting for me to come on. They all excited, and I walk in looking like a big angry bear, and they want to know what's wrong with Daddy. And, my wife told me, she said, hey, you want to stop that. And I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I learned early to balance that. When I leave work back. I ride home, I got a chance to, get away from work, get in my car and start driving and think about everything that happened or went on at work. But when I park that car and close that door and open up my house, I'm Dad. And I'm Dad. My kids love it. My kids they're so innocent. They have nothing to do with what I'm doing at work. Even though my daughter always asks me, every day I come home, she asks me, how was work? And I could have had a crappy day. And I was telling them, hey, work was good, baby. Thank you for asking, and my kids kind of, they kind of get into their routine. Then after that, they being kids, I'm being a father. So I had to learn that early on, though. I didn't always have that, but I had to learn how to balance those two, and I think I've done a great job over my career.
So, Vince, it sounds like your wife says when you come home, do your job. Did she basically pull the Belichick on you right there, Vince?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that was grazed in stone early in my career.
Yeah.
So it was definitely fitting for my career. Put it at that.
How much longer do you want to play football, Vince? You got last week. You got an 18-year-old. You got DeAndre, Destiny. 13-year-old David is 6. You mentioned you're 6. How much longer you want to keep doing this in the NFL?
I want to play until I can't play it no more. I want to play it until my body tells me it's time for me to, call it quits. And I can't put a time frame on that. All I can tell you is I'm far from the feeling. I still have the love for the, game. I still have the passion. I can still move around. I can still play. Until I lose all of those things in the combination of things, and when my body starts talking to me, until then, I'm going to play. But when things start talking to me and stuff like that, then I really have to sit back and say, hey, is it time for me to call it quits? But right now, I don't see it nowhere in the future right now. I don't.
Is there anybody you're reaching out to for counsel on this to talk about how to stay fresh in this league or how much longer to play?
I've always talked to people. When I was a rookie in New England, I had Keith Trell, I had Roman Pfeiffer, I had Ty Law, Vrabel.
You got
Rodney
Vrabel.
Harrison. So I had a older bunch that played a lot of football, and now I'm still with Vrabel, and
Yeah.
I asked Vrabel that question. How did you know when it was time? He said, "Trust me, your body will tell you when it's time." And I said, "Okay." I said, "That's fine." And I have a good friend, Gerard Mayo. He's like a brother to me who just retired after this past season, and he retired younger, and he just knew he was done. He wanted to do something else. So people have different reasons for calling it quits. I can only tell you, right now I have no plan right now to call it quits. But that may change in another year. It may change in another 5 years. Who knows? So I'm just going to take it as it comes. When it's time, it's time. I know it's time.
Vince Wilfork of the Houston Texans joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk here and now. What are you seeing out of Brock Osweiler in his first few reps with the Texans?
Well, I tell you what, he's a leader that we definitely need on that side of the ball and for this team. Anytime you can bring in somebody that's basically a natural-born leader and that can understand the game, they understand what their purpose is and understand their role. That's a great person to have in your locker room. That we have that in it. Not just him with Lamar Miller and draft picks and all that stuff. Things are shaping up pretty good for us. I mean, it's still early, but at the same time, on paper we look good. But paper don't mean anything. You got to be able to put it together in camp. So when camp get around, and once that third preseason season come around, the team will start coming together. And until that happens, we'll always be sitting back saying, I wonder. So we just got to give it time. But right now, I love where the foundation is that we laid with mini camps and everything, and OTAs and how the team came together. I like where we at. So we just got to, when camp get here, we got to kind of pick up where we left off with mini camps and get going early this year. And I think that's one of the biggest models that we've heard all offseason is, we got to start fast as a team. And if we do that, we put ourselves in a pretty good position.
Where does J.J. Watt rank in terms of players you've played with, Vince?
Oh, my gosh, that's the truth. He's definitely top three. I mean, the guys that I played with, I have a lot of respect for all the guys I played with. I played with some amazing people. I played with the greatest quarterback in the game. I played with one of the best football players, not just offensively or defensively. I'm just saying a football person with Mike Vrabel. Tons of respect for him. But JJ, he's definitely ranked to the top because he's the Tom Brady of defense. It's nothing that he can't do. Same as how I look at Tom. It's nothing Tom. It's not a throw that Tom can't make. It's not a decision that a coach don't trust him in. And JJ is the same way. It's nothing we can do defensively that we don't have 100% faith that he can't get it done. So that's a true leader, man. To be so young and to come in the game the way he has and show the world what he is, and for me to get a front row seat and to play alongside of him and just to see him work every day. I mean, he's probably one of the hardest working guys I've ever been around, hands down.
And what about Clowney, though, Vince? The general sense is that he's got all the talent in the world, that somebody's got to light a fire underneath him and within him. Is that a fair assessment?
But Clowney, let me tell you something. One thing about Clowney is when he's healthy, he's a force to be reckoned with. And, it hasn't been his fault, the first couple of years with, having injuries and bad luck of the draw. So we all excited about it. He came to work this year, ready to go. He's healthy. He's moving like the Clowney we've seen in college. I mean, so we're expecting big things from him. Not just us. He's expecting big things from himself. So we're a big believer in, you have to show us better than you could tell us. You know, it's not about the talking. You got to show us. And I think he's to the point where I think he's going to show everybody what he's made of.
Houston Texans Vince Wilfork here on behalf of Courtyard and their Father's Day campaign with the NFL. I've got a couple more questions for you. I would be remiss, Vince, before I let you go, having seen your hoops prowess on Hard Knocks, not to ask you your thoughts on the NBA Finals Game 6 last night, what LeBron's been doing, Steph Curry, and his tribulations going into Game 7. What do you think, Vince?
I'm telling you, we have a great series with two good teams. And when you have two good teams, it's going to come down to the wire. And this Game 7 is up for grabs. You know, Golden State playing at home. They rarely lose there. So I'm pretty sure they got the mindset is, you know, Game 7, they're at home. They can't let their fans down. But at the same time, LeBron and rallied his troops, and they responded. So you got a match where it can go either way, but we all going to sit back and watch this Game 7. And to me, I'm a big LeBron fan. The things that he do is, I mean, it's just so remarkable. I mean, it's just amazing what he do, not just scoring points. It's just how he run the offense, how he put other guys in the game. I mean, he's a true champion, man. He have a heart of a warrior, and you can see it. You know, he rallied those troops, and he got them playing right now. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Game 7, I think everybody's going to be tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to sit back and watch it and see what happens.
And, you know, and we did see on Hard Knocks, your wife was front and center quite a bit. Bianca was out there. And I'm wondering what your perspective might be on the fact that a lot of people talking about Steph Curry's wife today and what she's tweeting about and what you think is going through Steph's mind with his wife being discussed, having maybe you've been in a position like that before.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's probably his biggest fan. So I think when you have a fan that's your wife, you have to respect that, and trust me, he's playing through her, and she's by his side. She's his rock, so she's going to protect him, and it's good to see. I like to see, fiancés and girlfriends and wives cheer on their man and feel a certain way towards things because it shows you they have the passion just like we have the passion. So I think it's good to have that, and Steph, trust me, Steph, he's a professional. I mean, he's not going to let anything outside dictate anything that he's doing on that court because we all have a saying. With me, it's between the lines the game is played, and with those guys, it's on the court the game is played. So I'm pretty sure that he understands that, and as a professional, you have to understand that. So, but I'm glad to see that you have people, wives, and the significant other that's dedicated and passionate about the game as if they were playing. It just shows you the respect and the level that the wives have now, being more educated on that sport, just not being a beautiful person, but you have a beautiful wife and they know the game. That's amazing.
And Bo gets out. What if the Warriors asked you for a one-day contract to fill up that middle, Vince? How many minutes can you give me?
I'll tell you what, I will fall out within a minute. But I'll set the tone, dog.
All six? You'd use all six? Vince, you use all 6 fouls?
In a minute. I mean, I'll set the tone, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They'll have probably about 4 guys going back there in the locker room.
Set the tone. Hey, Vince, thanks for taking the time. Enjoy your Father's Day watching Game 7 with your kids and your wife. And thanks for coming on. It was fun.
No problem. Thank you, guys. And happy Father's Day, you guys, if you're fathers.
You bet. Thanks so much. That's Vince Wilfork here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.